Zlatan, a true example of a journeyman, having played successfully in 7 different leagues, from his humble beginnings in a war-torn country to becoming the greatest Swedish player of all time. This is the rise of Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Born on the 3rd of October 1981 in Malmö, Sweden, Zlatan was born to Bosnian and Croatian immigrants. Raised in a working-class family, instead of going to school, a young Zlatan had to work from an early age to support the family. But his love for football always shined through, as he played with friends and families on the street. Fast forward 10 years and Zlatan would get his big break. After having been in the Malmö Academy for 2 years, he would get promoted to the first team. At the time, saying Malmö were a bad team would be a huge understatement. During the last game of the season, all Malmö needed was a win and they'd stay up in the first division. But after a missed penalty in the last minute of the game, they lost 2-1 and were relegated to the Swedish second division, the first time that the club had gone down in 63 years. But no need to fear when Zlatan is here, as he finished top scorer in the Swedish second division, helping Malmö get promoted just after 1 season. And this young Zlatan was much different to the modern day Zlatan we know and love today. He was fast, skillful, and above all, a nightmare for defenders. He ended up scoring 12 goals in his first 25 games. And so, with these great performances, he caught the attention of several European teams. Arsenal, Ajax, Marseille, all eyeing up the youngster. But the choice was easy for Zlatan, who saw the success that Swedish legend Freddie Ljungberg had, and after going to Arsenal for a trial, the deal was set to be agreed. That was until they asked Zlatan to come back for a second trial, in which he saw that as blatant disrespect of his talent. And a couple days later, he completed an £8.5 million transfer to Ajax, becoming the most expensive Swedish outgoing at the time. After the transfer, it wasn't the best of starts for a young Zlatan, as under the watchful eye of manager Andreas, he found himself on the bench for the most part of his first season. But little did he know, fate had a different plan in store. As days turned to weeks, whispers of change echoed through the air. And on November 2001, Ajax manager Andreas was sacked and entered in Ronald Koeman, the new coach with a vision that would set Ibrahimovic's destiny ablaze. With a stroke of brilliance, Koeman took a big gamble, propelling the young Swede into the starting lineup for Ajax. The stage was set, as Ajax embarked on a quest for glory in the 01-02 season. And boy did Zlatan step up to the task, providing 14 goal contributions and helping Ajax win the Eredivisie. But this was only just the start of Zlatan's rise, bringing us to the 02-03 season, where Zlatan would explode, making his Champions League debut on the 17th of September. The conductor would orchestrate a choir. Zlatan took control of Ajax's Champions League run, scoring 5 goals, helping dark horses Ajax make it to the quarterfinals. But fate will play its cards, leading them to face the legendary AC Milan. But this wasn't just any AC Milan side. It was arguably the greatest team of all time, with players like Maldini and Nesta in the back, Gattuso and Pirlo in the midfield, and Shevchenko and Inzaghi up front. Despite that, Ajax did well to keep a 0-0 draw at home, but the return fixture was completely different. With AC Milan playing at home, they narrowly ended up winning the game 3-2. And just a couple weeks later, they went on to win the whole thing. Zlatan ended the 02-03 season with 21 goals and 3 assists in 42 games. Moving on to the 03-04 season, where despite missing 3 to 4 months of the campaign due to a calf problem, Zlatan would come back on decent form, ending the season with 15 goals and 8 assists. But every journey to greatness never comes without its fair shares of mishap, and Zlatan's journey was no exception. And so, on the 18th of August in 2004, in an international match against the Netherlands, Zlatan would change the trajectory of his career forever. As Sweden was going head-to-head against the Dutch, in the heat of the battle, a moment of red saw him inadvertently injure his own Ajax teammate, Rafael van der Vaart, injuring him for the next few months. And thus, accusations started to fly like arrows. And a couple weeks later, Van der Vaart was asked what he thought about the situation, pointing the finger directly at Zlatan. Talking to the media, he said, "When he first came to Ajax, I knew for a fact he didn't like me. And after the incident, he confirmed my thoughts. After we went to Ajax, this is what he said. I don't like you, and I don't like you as a captain. I didn't injure you on purpose, and you know it. If you accuse me again, I'll break both of your legs, and this time, it'll be on purpose." And 4 days later, with an injured Van der Vaart in the stands at the Amsterdam Arena, Zlatan pulled off one of the most iconic goals in his career. Facing Breda a few games into the season, the Swede collected a pass halfway between the box, holding off a midfielder. When another came to challenge, he bumped them and used a fake shot to move away. And as more were coming, he used another fake shot to send 3 players to an early bath, before faking one final time, sitting the goalkeeper down and slotting it past him. But after the game, he wasn't asked about his iconic goal. More so, the situation with his teammate.
You will talk about the game or you will talk about the other thing? Because
No,
if
we
you talk
talk
about the other game, I will go.
about Sweden.
Yeah,
Well, there are a lot of people who don't understand you.
no problem. You talk about the game.
I want to talk.
If you talk about the other things,
I
will go
first
away.
now talk about the game, because
talk about the game.
you played fantastic well.
Doesn't matter. You talk only about the game.
Because you don't want to talk anymore about the other things.
There's no other things. It's solved and it was solved immediately, and yeah.
In 9 days, it's 31 of August. Is that an important day for you?
I don't know. It's a normal day like every other day, I think.
It's the deadline of maybe for a transfer to Italy. Is that still what you want? Is that still where you're searching for?
I'm not searching for anything. I love to play for Ajax, and I'm happy at Ajax, and I feel like I can still develop, so I don't have that thoughts.
And thus, Ronald Koeman was forced into making a huge decision. Either keeping Zlatan and losing the harmony of the team, or selling the best player they had in order to keep the team happy. And so, just a couple of days later, Zlatan Ibrahimović, the Swedish sensation, made a jaw-dropping move from Ajax to Juventus for a staggering £16 million. As anticipation was in the air, fans couldn't wait to witness Zlatan magic. And fortunately for him, destiny would be on his side, as an injury sidelined their top scorer David Trezeguet, and thus this step back turned out to be the spark that ignited Zlatan's career. Like a phoenix rising from the ashes, he was thrust into the starting 11, goal after goal announcing his presence in Turin, tallying an impressive 16 goals and 8 assists in just his first season. With Zlatan's help, Juventus soared to the Serie A title, finishing top of the league. But the Champions League was a different story. As they carved their way into the quarterfinals, they would abruptly be defeated by eventual champions Liverpool. But this wasn't the end of the spectacle. As whispers of his genius spread far and wide, offers began pouring in from different clubs, and reports came out that Real Madrid, the mighty behemoth of footballing titans, couldn't resist the temptation and dropped a staggering 70 million bid on the striker. But Juventus stood strong and rejected the astronomical fee. Yet behind the scenes, everything began to unravel, as Zlatan's agent, the crafty Mino Raiola, had a cunning plan up his sleeve. It was revealed that the monstrous bid was nothing more than a publicity stunt orchestrated to inflate Zlatan's market value. The following season saw a change in Zlatan's role, becoming less of a goal scorer and more of a midfielder. He pulled the strings from the sidelines, weaving intricate plays and becoming the master of assists. But fans were left frustrated and disappointed as they found him going missing in the big moments, like the heart-wrenching Champions League defeat to Arsenal. Amidst all this, an earth-shattering scandal rocked the footballing world, the infamous Calciopoli scandal. Juventus found themselves stripped of 2 Scudettos and were relegated to Serie B. As turmoil began to ensue, the new Juventus staff desperately tried to convince Zlatan and other stars to stay and help the club fight through this storm. But Zlatan had other plans. Driven by a relentless ambition to be the best, he made it clear that it was time to move on. And so his agent Mino Raiola got to work, doing anything he could to get the big Swede out of Turin, even threatening legal action to free Zlatan from his contract. And so, on the 10th of August 2006, Zlatan's journey saw him land at rivals Inter Milan, who completed the deal for a respectable £25 million. As the stage was set, the world eagerly awaited the emergence of this football phenom, with Zlatan debuting for Inter in the 2006 Supercoppa against Roma. For a full 90 minutes, he dazzled the crowd as Inter triumphed in an exhilarating fashion, securing victory after extra time. And this was a sign of things to come. And just days later, on the 9th of September, Zlatan scored a crucial goal, leading Inter to a thrilling 3-2 victory. As the season continued, the big Swede's brilliance knew no bounds, netting an impressive 15 goals in the Serie A. With his unwavering dedication and unparalleled talent, he steered Inter towards a Scudetto, earning a record-breaking 97 points along the way. Zlatan's impressive performances saw him earn a monumentous contract, making him the world's highest-paid footballer at the time, etching his name in football history. And the following year, another Scudetto reckoned, as Zlatan helped defeat Parma 2-0 on the final day. Zlatan had an impressive 29 goals and 11 assists to his name, winning the crown of the league's top goalscorer, guiding Inter to yet another league title. But the honors continued to pour in, winning the Footballer of the Year and the Foreign Football of the Year award, sealing his status as an all-time great, leading us to the summer of the 9-10 season. Despite Inter's domestic success, it wasn't the same for them in the Champions League, as fans started noticing that their star player would go missing in the big moments. Having lost in the Champions League round of 16, the fans' patience was running out. And as a certain bald man in Catalonia was building his super team, rumors started spreading about a swap deal where Samuel Eto'o would go to Inter and Zlatan to Barca. And when Zlatan's best friend Maxwell departed for Barca, the whispers gained massive momentum. The footballing world was electrified as rumors started to gain traction, and just a couple days later it was official. In exchange for striker Samuel Eto'o and an eye-watering £59 million, Barcelona had secured the signing of the Swedish superstar. With the world watching, Zlatan made his competitive debut for Barcelona on the 23rd of August. As his mere presence was magic, he assisted Lionel Messi's goal, leading Barcelona to claim the Supercopa over Atletico Bilbao. But the magic didn't stop there, as the Swedish striker went on a goal-scoring spree. First in the UEFA Super Cup win over Shakhtar, then a stellar performance in the La Liga season opener against Sporting, where he netted his first goal in a mesmerizing 3-0 win. One dazzling display after another, Zlatan showed no signs of slowing down. But the trophy that Zlatan wanted the most was up for grabs, as Barcelona were set to face his former side, Inter Milan, in the semi-finals of the Champions League. As Game 1 started, Barca began to dominate, scoring the first goal of the game in the 18th minute, after a cross from Maxwell found Pedro at the top of the box. But just 10 minutes later, Inter would get their goal, after a pass from Milito found Wesley Sneijder, who side-footed the ball in the back of the net. And it wouldn't be long before they found their second, after Maicon sliced in a close-range effort, and as Barca missed chance after chance, Inter would find their third of the game, as Milito headed in a cross from close range. Despite Barca winning the return fixture 1-0, they lost on aggregate 3-2 to that year's eventual champions. But as the year drew to a close, Barcelona's trophy cabinet expanded thanks to Zlatan's contributions. He ended the campaign with 21 goals and 13 assists. In the end, life at Camp Nou wasn't all sunshines and rainbows for the big Swede, as reports started to emerge that behind the scenes there were battles going on that the world didn't know of. As the cracks began to surface, we found out that Zlatan's relationship with coach Pep Guardiola was at an all-time high, casting shadows on his future there. In an interview speaking with media, he said, "You bought a Ferrari, but you drove it like a Fiat." Wise words from the big Swedish striker. And so, the chapter in Barcelona's history was edged with Zlatan's name. In his own words, the journey started well, but the winds of change blew and he found himself adrift in a sea of transformation, leaving an undeniable mark on the hearts of fans worldwide. Speaking with the media, he said, "I was probably with the best team in history. Their football was beautiful. When I prepared for a game, I knew I had won before we even started. I looked at the players around me and saw Messi, Iniesta, Xavi, Puyol, Piqué, Dani Alves, and Busquets. Unbelievable. It was football from another planet and I loved it. Technically, it was perfect." Part 2 of the Big Swede's journey will drop next week. Thank you for watching, take care, and peace.